And welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. This one coming to you post-game, February 8th, after the Boston Bruins in a mid-afternoon matinee. I don't even know, that's probably redundant, but regardless, an afternoon game. Lose to the Vegas Golden Knights, 4-3, the last game before the Four Nations freeze, as I like to call it. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is proudly presented by our lead in-pod sponsor, Fazenda Coffee Roasters. Did you know that Fazenda Coffee Roasters partners with cafes, bakeries, and restaurants to provide top quality through their wholesale program? If you didn't, you knew now. They also, though, they don't stop there, Razor, as you well know. They also have a great retail business too, and they'll ship direct. You, the listener, can enjoy their expertly roasted coffee at home. Shop direct at fazendacoffee.com. And, you get 15% off your first order and plus free shipping on orders over $35. So whether you're running a business or just brewing an amazing cup of coffee at home, and this is amazing coffee, Fazenda's got you covered. Check out fazendacoffee.com/morning brew specifically if you want to look for the brew blend, the brew hats, or the remaining brew clean canteen travelers. All right, my friend. Fantastic to see you. You look rested. A day off, but not fully off because you watched the game at home. I chose to watch the game at home as well. I jostled with going in. I was hoping to go in with Victoria, and wasn't feeling great. Hasn't been feeling great, so stayed home. Felt good for a little while and felt cautiously optimistic with a 2-goal lead heading into the third, only to see that lead evaporate. Another game where I feel a little deflated on this one, partner. How about you?
Yeah, I feel more deflated than I did the other night for sure. Again, it is nice that we didn't do a post-game show. We didn't talk about it all day. And it was an afternoon game. So, and it's a break. I know I'm not going to have to talk about a game for 2 weeks. So I'm actually like, feel pretty good, to be honest.
You're disappointed, but feel pretty good at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And it's just that it's they're not they're gonna wish they had a point out of a couple of these last 2 games if they miss the playoffs. I think we'll look at this week and be, they should have found a way against the Rangers to get one. They should have found a way to get at least one again today. And there's been too many of these. That's the thing too, I guess. There's just not enough extra point games. You can lose that lead today, and it would have been okay if you lose it in overtime or take that penalty with 10 seconds left and then lose 4-on-3 in overtime. But to get the lead and have the lead and then give up the goal late in the second period, that just is an absolute killer.
We're gonna get to that. We'll get to
that. So again, it's just the way. It's the special teams again, and there's not a lot you can. We're just getting to the point where it's just been it's I don't know what you don't really know what else to say.
It's too much.
It's just the special teams again.
Yeah. It's too much of the same thing as far as I'm concerned, and things will have to change. We know that. This is just the second time leading after the second period in regulation that the Bruins have lost. 16-2-4 now. As you said off air before we got on recording this episode, first time this year that they've given up a multi-goal lead to lose in regulation, which makes it even more disappointing to me. This is where you buck up, whatever cliche you want, and you figure out a way. You just, to your point about getting at least a point, I wanted to, especially considering I thought you played pretty well in the first. You started to see the Vegas Golden Knights get after it in the second, then the third, and you get outshot. By the way, do you know this part, Razor? The last time Bruins outshot a team, you have to go back to the San Jose matinee game. It's the last time there's been 1 or 2 games where they were even, literally dead even, but they've been vastly outshot since that San Jose matinee. But okay, I digress. I don't know. I find this one disappointing because this is the old, you figure out a way how to make this one work. I'm saying the same thing you are. You have to. And I went through some numbers, and I'm not good with numbers. But even if the Bruins, even if all the other teams around them, Razor, play 500, the same winning percentage type of hockey around them, and the Bruins play 600 hockey, 600, not even 600 hockey, they're going to get to 90 points only. So if I'm wrong on my math, somebody can give me crap, and that's fine. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. 90 points, I don't think gets in, but I just don't, given that the other teams, they're going to be there if they play the same level, not 700 hockey, but the same level where they're at, right? Because of the games in hand type of thing. It's looking more and more daunting. I know we have a little more time, but it's looking more and more daunting to me.
Yeah, I'm not going there. Yeah, I'm not. Like
I know.
There's too much. The break, the whole thing. I mean, the season's not over for 2 more months, so it's going to be daunting. There's no question. You got to rattle off 7 in a row. You do. You're going to have to go. You're going to have to go 8-2 at some point. There's no question about that. So that's what they put themselves in over this break.
Yeah. The break.
By the way, like 600 hockey, they can go better than, like, 600's not that. There's a lot of teams way better than 600, right?
Well, I just went to 600 because that was like, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at their record now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at it and saying, I know they've had the one stretch when Joe was named interim coach, and they went well past that. But I'm looking at it saying, okay, let's just say they went 600, because I can't assume they're going to go 700. The rest of the way. If they do, well, then shame on me for doubting, or not doubting, but not using that number. I'm using 600 as a safe spot, I guess. And since I'm so bad at math, I could kind of figure out, with round numbers. The break, they're 2-2 heading into the break, or if you want to look at it in the last 4 games, or they're 2-4 in their last 6. You can slice and dice the numbers any way you want to. This game started pretty damn good, though, for the Bruins. They had energy. The Garden had energy. Although I watched it from home, I felt like you could feel the energy of this winter game, the day before a storm type game, Like, I just felt you could feel it. And it got off to a great start with Brad Marchand getting the goal on the assist from Nikita Zadorov. Zadorov from the left point gets the puck down, smokes it down low. Marchand's off to the right side of the goaltender, Samsonov, stops it with his skate, slabs it into the net. And Razor, the Bruins are off to a damn good start. They didn't wait 10 minutes to get their first shot on goal. They were moving, they were grooving, and they were invested in this one early on, I thought.
They looked refreshed. They looked like a team that had the 2 days off, and looked like a team that were ready to go with a win into the break. That, again, it was Brad's line. Brad
they were good in the first.
Dragged everyone in the fight. Lindholm and Coyle were really good. That was as good as they've played as a line. I think Brad's been dragging them along for a while now, but the other two really picked it up, and they had a lot of energy and a really, what, again, you could see them putting a few shifts together because that line was so good. And of course, Paston, Geeky, and Zach have been really good. So it was a great start. You couldn't really have drawn up any better.
So you're up 1-0, and you're playing a team that did play very well in their last game. It was just a 3-1 win over New Jersey, 3-1. But I watched some of that game, and they really dominated the Devils in that game. So Vegas has been really volatile. They have been riding the proverbial roller coaster lately. One of the worst teams record-wise in the NHL the last couple of weeks. However, they got to win the other night. They're feeling better about themselves. They knew coming into this game that they had to get it going. They find themselves down 2-0, though. The 13:49 art, when Nikita Zadorov, after a scramble, he ends up getting his 3rd goal of the season as the big Russian unleashes the hammer. He lets it go. Samsonov's down on the ice, or I don't know, Samsonov, regardless. And with a mosh pit in front, nobody touches the goalie here. We'll get into goalie interference in a moment, but nobody touches him. He's just flopping around. And from the left, inside the left point, he comes more into the middle. He lets the hammer go. And I got to tell you what, Zadorov in the first period looked pretty damn good to me. I mean, he was involved in everything.
Yeah, he was. And again, he was with that line most of the period. So he was the beneficiary of their creating chaos in front of the net on the second one, just whacking and bodies and crashing and being difficult, and that puck bounces back out to him, and he makes no mistakes. So again, couldn't have drawn up the first 10 minutes any better, being up 2-0.
So you're up 2-0 after 2. Beecher takes a penalty, a tripping call. Talk to me. I mean,
I don't know.
You know,
I feel like I wish there was a little bit of incidental contact allowed sometimes, because like they're both kind of going there. I get the trip. Yes, he tripped him by the complete letter of the law, but it wasn't like he tripped them and then was going on a breakaway with that play. They're both they cross legs more than anything else. So they've taken a lot of offensive zone penalties, but this one just doesn't.
This is marginal.
I don't think this isn't the same as the other ones that we've talked about before.
Right. This one was marginal, but it leads to a Mark Stone goal for Vegas on the power play. Bit of a sign of things to come in this game, that the power play was good for Vegas. Razor said in the open about special teams again. Stone gets his 14th from front of the net. He's a big man. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I mean, I know guys in general celebrate goals, but I don't know if anybody celebrates as emphatically as Mark Stone does when he scores. Every time it seems like his first. Shea Theodore had his 40th assist. He's had a hell of a year.
That's a lot of assists for him.
40th assist on the year. And Brandon Saad, who they just recently signed, got the other assist. So it's 2-1 at the end of one. Shots after the first period, 12-11 in favor of the Bruins. Again, it was a good, even though they gave up that goal, it was a good period. It was good. It was, again, energy, passion, physical. You don't see the Golden Knights a lot. You know that Bruce Cassidy's behind the bench, though. You know the purpose of the game, meaning right before break. It was a really good start to the game. Second period takes a while, but then at the 15:07 mark, Morgan Geekie ends up getting his 17th goal of the season on a nice play, from David Pastrnak. And now, Razor, what are you thinking? Bruins are up 3-1. By no means Dunzo or anything like that. But you look at that goal and you're like, okay, late in the second, you've cultivated a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, that's it. You're 2-goal lead at home. They've been very good at home, despite what anyone wants to say of all the other stuff going on. They have one of the better home records in the league, and they're up 3-1.
And your goalie who's in net is 8-0-1, was it, or 8-1 in his last 9 games at home?
So he's feeling it, and yeah, you're in a great spot, and you're against a dangerous team that it's never going to give up or quit, but you're feeling good, and you're really hoping to. Of course, the hindsight tells you really need to get out of that second period with a 2-goal lead, and you didn't.
All right, and the reason you didn't is at 1926, Zach Whitecloud from the right side unleashes a shot. I'll let you, being a goalie, just kind of take me through the analysis of it, because it ends up going through Jeremy Swayman, and then it barely crosses the line, but it clearly crosses the line after a review.
Yeah, it clearly did. I mean, I don't have much more. I don't have any real analysis to give beyond what we saw. I mean, just looked like he mistracked it, or where it hit him, it kind of got to him a little quicker, or something. Let
me ask you this, okay? Because it hits him. Is it how his body's positioned? Because then it goes through him. I mean, if you're positioned right, what is it? The puck gets deadened, right? I mean, you absorb it into your body. Here, he's off by a couple of inches, or
yeah.
And then
I don't think he didn't look like he was off. Like, he got his feet set. He looked like he got there. That's the thing. Like, again, that's one of those things where he could literally shoot 1,000 pucks on him, and that would never happen again. No matter, even if he didn't try to stop it. Like, if he was trying, like, it's just, and that's where my poor analysis is here, because it didn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense how it hits the top of his glove, comes back down. It was like the magic loogie. But it's bad. Like, it can't happen. That's the thing. Like, as a goaltender, you're watching. I mean, he's not going to watch the video of it now because they get the break. But if they did have to watch the video tomorrow, it's like, dude, unfortunately, I got to get that. Yeah. So that's the analysis. Again, it's so weird because, again, it was all like, he got
It
there with
wasn't a
his
hard
feet.
shot. It wasn't.
It was a slapper from 80 feet. Like it
Yeah.
was, pretty standard stuff. So, I don't think he addressed it after. I didn't see anywhere that he addressed it. So
I didn't see either, but I will be honest, I didn't really look for stuff after the game as I've been running around since then before we sat down to record this episode. Major point in the game, though, because as you said, Bruins needed really the 3-1 lead heading into the third, but it's a 3-2 lead. And I think Vegas
could have went away after that, right?
Yeah.
Like Vegas could have went away 3-1, and they get a freebie, and you're like, oh, okay, let's actually try and win this.
Right. Let's win this now. All it takes is one. And then Dorofeev gets that one, 4:54 into the period from Shea Theodore and Jack Eichel. Eichel's 49th assist of the season. He says this is the best he's ever felt playing right now. First time he's played at TD Garden since 2019. It's a big passing play. Two guys go to one side.
We've seen that way too much.
It's an overcommitment. Who is it? It was Wallstrom. He goes over. So Eichel's coming down the left side. He's a righty. Two guys go. Defenseman and Wallstrom go to him. That leaves middle of the ice open. And at one point, I thought that Zacha, would be able to stay with this guy, but the breakdown happened before that with Wallstrom.
Yeah. No, 1,000,000%. And that's, if anyone, you ask what's different, why are things, that's the play that's happened a lot. And I bet it's happened as many times this year as it has the last 12 years for this team, because that's just an obvious, easy read. The forward does not track that forward back into the defensive zone. As soon as you get to the dots, that is now the defensive guy, the defenseman's guy. That's 101, folks. That's as 101 as it gets. Just
so, folks, if you haven't seen the goal, or even if you have, and what you're saying, what do you mean by tracking? And and some of you probably already know, and some might not. If you watch it again. So Eichel's coming down, and who's the defenseman? Oh, my God. McAvoy. Oh, that's right. McAvoy's right there. Wallstrom slides over, though, too. They're both along the wall, but as soon as Eichel gets closer to McAvoy, that's got to be the handoff there. Then Wallstrom's got to keep coming back through middle ice. Mm-hmm. There's the read. You've got to read, react. You've got to hand off, as they like to call it. But once Eichel gets the puck over to Theodore, then everybody turns. Theodore looks, and then they get it over to the right side for Vegas, and Dorofeev gets it, and the net is open. It's just too. It reminds me of the Buffalo goal. You remember the goal that Thompson scored from in front of the net?
Closed down.
Where Geeky closed too far the other side of the ice.
Correct. Exactly. Yep.
So that's what it was.
Yep.
So it's 4-4, 3-3. Beg your pardon, at the 4:54 mark. And then we got a whole lot of stuff that happens. A whole lot of stuff. There's a bunch of chances. We can get into some and not get into. But anyways, you have a penalty that's called. You get Zacha, who gets called for a slash at the 16:50 mark. All right, and I mean it's an NHL slash. I don't like it, but it's an NHL. I don't like the timing of it.
Yeah, it's an NHL slash. I just wish we could. Would Butchie have been jumping off the bench if they hadn't called it? I don't think so. That's the one. These are the ones at the end of games where I'm like, was someone going to lose their mind if that wasn't called? Right. But no one even knew what was happening out on the ice, and that's the kind of the sign of maybe not a call you needed to make.
Right. I don't disagree. But yet you see it on replay, especially slow-mo, and it's an NHL, quote-unquote, NHL new era slash. So Vegas goes on the power play, move it around. There's an opportunity coming off the goal line, off to the blocker side of Swayman for Mark Stone again. The big right shot, power forward, drives through the crease, but as he's coming just through the top of it, dishes the puck over to Dorofeev, again, who ends up scoring, but they go to a goalie review because of contact made with Jeremy Swayman's head. I was fearful there that the NHL would say, well, we didn't think that it was like the Florida goal from last year. Well, we deemed that he wouldn't have been able to get to that one.
Yeah.
But listen, I'll tell you what, Ray Ferraro and Dave Jackson both had it. I agreed with, I mean, I'm sitting there saying that's goalie interference. Like, that's clear-cut goalie interference. I don't care if you quote unquote couldn't get over there. There was contact made. It wasn't incidental. It was, he came across and he got him. And he's not entitled to that ice either there.
No, he's not. No.
Once you get rid of the puck.
Yeah, that's it. You knew they were gonna. Yes, it was pretty in high again after watch. After they make the call, no goal, then you're like, yeah, of course that's no goal. See, that's the kind of play where I want them to find a way to keep that in the game as we move forward. That goal would have been a goal in 2009 or 2008. Like, that's the goalie interference kind of play that should be a goal. That's a guy going to the net, trying to make a play, misses his wraparound, just kind of goes through a little bit more, and other guy score. Like, that's a play where the goalies won't complain that much about that, because that's kind of a hockey play. That's not taking ice or nudging me as I'm getting my feet set. That's
going
hockey.
There, right? You're not, no intent. It's all playing.
Right.
But again, I've said this so many times, whether it's on this show or others, or we open Pandora's box. How many coming out of the 04 lockout, 04, 05, with all this replay stuff, with all this hands, you remember back coming out of that lockout, parallel stick, like we had hooking calls when shin guards got tapped, literally.
Yeah.
And then we've had so many different things, but you're not going back. You're just not. I don't disagree with you. So that gets overruled. But again, I'm being negative here. I didn't have confidence that the Bruins were going to kill it in the last. They still had time to go on the penalty. And then at 18:50, Tomas Hertl gets his 21st goal of the season from Eichel, who gets his 50th assist, and then Stone as well. And the middle ice, the bumper, used so much by Vegas, was open. Coyle was just a stride too slow getting there. I felt like the bumper was too much of an option, even just watching it live. And they made him pay, and in game over. And the penalty kill, going back to what you said, is just not acceptable anymore, Razor. It's just the middle ice. And here's the other thing too. I was texting with our guy Timmy, and how many times are the Bruins being beat on east-west passes, even at even strength, in their own zone, protecting the middle of the ice? It's whether it's body positioning, stick positioning, reactiveness, or how quick or slow to react. They're getting beat, Razor, to too many plays through middle of the ice. This was another example. I know it's PK, a little different than 5-on-5, but they're getting beat to those areas too much.
Well, and on the PK, they're getting beat because they didn't clear the puck. Both goals, they don't clear the puck. So if you don't clear the puck, then that's when you get beat, because you're out of position. You guys are blowing the zone already. Guys are getting out of position to go get the puck somewhere else, and it doesn't end up out of the zone, and then you're there tired and you're not ready and you don't have energy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So both of them had the puck on their stick, the one in the first, the one in the third. They have it on their stick. Their big defensemen have it. They're ready to rip it down the ice, and they don't rip it down the ice, and then it's a goal. I mean, you can. I bet some guy's analytics that says 85% of the time that happens on a PK. It doesn't. It goes in. And that's the difference in the game. There's two of those again this time around, and then to the point of the bumper, I'm curious what I think that was Coyle. I think it was him coming across. I don't, because McAvoy's stick was really protecting Stone.
He was protecting Stone,
front of the net.
Right.
And you have to protect the top. So I think, like, watching McAvoy's reaction to it, he had his hands on his head. Like,
don't you have to overplay the bumper?
I thought we were in perfect position. Like, McAvoy thought they were perfect.
Yeah,
off his backside. So,
well, they overplayed the bumper and they did it really well for most of the game. Or if you go back to that Tampa game, remember how respectful they were of point. I'm not saying they didn't respect Hertl, but he was just a half a stride too slow getting over there. And the quick shot from Hurdle, and Vegas celebrates. And they got a 5-hour flight home, and they're happy. Maybe 6 hour. I don't know with the weather. But the Bruins lose. You're right. They didn't clear the puck there. Was that Zadorov on that last one?
It was Carlo on that one. Zadorov was
Zadorov
the first one.
The first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I need to start taking like some memory enhancing stuff. Not to be confused for other enhancing stuff. Or maybe I'm just tired. Bruins get outshot 38-24 in the game. Shots for the Bruins in both the second and third, folks, were 6 each. So 12 in the first, 6 each in the second and third. Vegas goes 11-6, 11-16, and 11.
So I to that point, I saw Brad talk out. He said we sat back. Zadorov said the same in their interviews post game, that they sat back and they paid for it in the end. So that's pretty evident.
Power plays were 2 for 4 for Vegas. Boston just 0 for 1. There was a fight in the game much earlier. Kolasar with Wahlstrom in the first period. Frederick and Dorofeev also got reminders for roughing there. But I kind of felt, without hearing anything post game, I don't know if Oliver spoke or anything like that. I felt like he just said, "I have to do this." You know, he knows that Kolasar is a tough kid, really tough kid.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with Wahlstrom doing that, because he knew he was going to get beat up, and it's fine. Like, everyone's happy he did it, and you get a lot of respect, and he just knew he had to. He knew he had to do something to stay in this line. Like,
that's it.
Leave an impression here. I got to get going here.
He has to do something, like you said. In the game for the Bruins, as we look at some numbers, in the faceoff circle, they go 33 wins, 28 losses. Elias Lindholm leads the way, 13 out of 20 in the game. Kastelik ends up going 4 for 5, so he was good there. And then Pavel Zacha was 6 of 10. Nikita Zadorov led the way offensively with a goal and an assist in the game. He was involved in, as I told you, we did the recap, in both the first and second goals. I thought he had a really good first period for the most part. I think he was also, though, involved in that first goal, though. That was the problem there. So he was involved in all 3 goals, I guess. And then he was okay as the game went on. He played 26 minutes. Charlie McAvoy played 25-24. Penalty kill and whatever. You're playing the big guys because you know you're done for a while.
Yep.
Anything else really jump out? Lindholm had 8 shot attempts. 4 of them reached the net in the game. Pasternak had 8 as well. 5 of them reached the net. He keeps his point streak alive. What is it, 14 now? With 1 assist in the game, with the assist on the geeky goal. And Marchand with the goal. He ended up with 2 shots, 2 takeaways. He also had 3 giveaways in the game, but he got the goal, and he was a +2. I thought that the Lindholm line was very good in the first period. I thought was pretty good. I felt noticeable enough in the game too. Was Matt Poitras. What about you? I thought he did some good stuff in the.
They were good. They I thought they had a good jump. That third line. And again, they did sit back as a group, but
yep.
I didn't think that there was anyone in particular that was like struggling, even throughout. Like, again, it was a good team. The 3 mistakes, and they cost you. They ended up in the back of your net, and that's and the last 3 goals is what I'm talking about. Then that hurts. But no, I thought there was a lot of good individual performance. I didn't think there was anyone who really struggled out there. The one thing that I noticed watching in the third is they didn't get the 4th line out at all.
Not hard. I was going to say they didn't play much. Yeah.
I would have loved to have them found a couple of shifts for those guys. And I don't know if they were like, I didn't really notice them that much. Maybe they sat too long in the second where you just couldn't throw them out there, but I would have liked to have seen them roll them over, especially in that place where there was like 5 minutes of straight ice. And
I think they were, I don't disagree. They were playing the big boys in this game because they knew they were all heading into break.
Yeah.
So they're running everybody. They're emptying the tank. To your point, Cole Koepke, 633. Mark Kastelik, 709 in this game. John Beecher, 735. Beecher played 141 shorthanded.
Yeah, so he played like 4 minutes of 5-on-5 time. Like that, I guess that's my. I noticed it. Usually, I don't notice that kind of stuff as much. Like, I'd have to actually be looking for. But I noticed it. It was so evident that I noticed it just through the routine of play that I like Kaslik on the ice. I just do. I would have liked to have seen him out there, even if you toss him on the third line with Frederick and Poitras and have him out there just being long and bigger. I think he can change momentum at different times. But again, he's been injured and all those kinds of things too.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't just a him thing. It was all three of them.
Yeah.
There was obviously a coaching decision.
It was, yeah.
That
was very obvious. It was a coaching decision, yeah.
Take a moment here to recognize our two other sponsors for this show, Graciano Construction, who has been just a phenomenal partner this year, sponsor this year with Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Can't thank them enough. You really want to reach out to Graciano Construction if you're looking to do anything with your house, and they do it all. They just do it all. GracianoConstruction.com. Check out also, Razor, their Instagram. They do a really good job there. They're showing you a lot of different projects that they're doing. Go check out Graciano Construction on Instagram or call them at 508-330-7589. Just fantastic professionalism, a lot of pride, so much respect. Doug, his brother Andre, the rest of the crews, so nice. They listen to what you want, whether it's a small thing, a big thing, and they have ideas. And all the stuff that we've done together, never once pushed anything. They're like, this is what we think, this is what we see. Talk about a budget, they're phenomenal to deal with. Check them out. You really want to. They're doing some great stuff. And you know, they're worth your consideration, folks, if you're doing something, especially something big. Check out GracianoConstruction.com or again, 508-330-7589. Sparks Hockey's got the best at-home skate sharpener you can buy. So many different wheels, so many different options. They got a Generation 2, a Gen 3 piece of equipment. Razor, so many different things. Was there a spark of the game for you? Was there anything that sparked you in this game as you sat at home with, I'm assuming, some kids?
The three, I like the geeky goal. I mean, you keep David Pasternak's streak going at 13. It really felt like the Garden was going to cook the rest of the night. It really felt like that was the next goal was going to be the team was going to be in a really good spot. Whoever scored that next one, that 2-1, and so that for me was the spark, and it was the last spark, I suppose, of the night.
Yeah, I'm with you. Check out sparkshockey.com. Use the code BRU50. Get $50 off. They also have some other great deals on their website too. If you are considering a Sparks machine, really check it out. And you want to talk about phenomenal customer service. They have it too. Buddy's machine needed to be fixed. Took it back, cleaned it up, made it look like new. Works perfectly. Just great stuff. All right. So now they're heading into this break. And Four Nations begins on Tuesday. So you've got a few guys from the Bruins go into play. Is there anybody that needs this more, a good performance more, than Elias Lindholm, who has been a little better, I feel like more noticeable lately, okay? Mm-hmm. Offensively in particular, right, doing a little bit more. Nowhere near where it needs to be, or at least expectations were. But, you know, this tournament, for a player like him, I hope this can be something that catapults him to betterness, Razor. I just, you know, I don't know how I feel about midseason tournaments. Oh, I know how I feel, actually. I'm mixed on him, this, that. Okay, it is what it is, though. He needs to use this, especially with part of the games being in Boston. He could have, I think this could be a big moment, good moment for him if he can do something here.
I think all four of them. I really think that the four guys going are the four best players for the Bruins to have going. I don't think any of these four players would be better. Like, so there's probably a lot of teams that are saying, man, I really wish those guys weren't going to do that. So I wish he wasn't going to do it. I wish they weren't doing it. I wish they were going to rest. I think they could really use that. In this situation for the Bruins, I think all four of them are better served going to play in this tournament. And Lindholm and Swayman are the two guys at the top of the list of those four. But Brad Brad needs to keep playing. A break doesn't do him good for 2 weeks and have to get going again.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
same with
Charlie.
McAvoy.
Yeah.
McAvoy just had his break. He just took his
Yeah, no,
12-day
Charlie
break,
needs to play. Yeah.
and he needs to play, and he's going to be better. He's going to be the number. He's the shutdown pair for the Team USA. He's up against the best players in the world for the next 10 days. He's going to come out, and it's going to feel real easy that first game against Anaheim. And then to Lindholm, yeah, he has an opportunity. He's a big offensive piece for Sweden, and he's going to get a lot of looks, and he's going to touch the puck a lot for the next couple of days, and he's going to be back with his countrymen and play a different kind of style, a little Swedish style, and should really be able to gain from playing the next couple of weeks.
I would like to see him have the puck on his stick more. I would like to see him shoot the puck a bit more and, of course, finish. But again, I'm going to say recently, and a good host would have the numbers right at my fingertips, but since I'm not, I'll have to pull it up quickly as we talk. He had a goal in the previous game against the Rangers. He had assists. He's had points in 4 or 5 coming in to this game. So that's better. Not perfect, but it's better. He's doing pretty well in the faceoffs, which he's always done usually. But I'd love to see him get more confident. I don't know if he's not confident because, you don't get a chance to really talk to the guys that much anymore. But you know what I mean? To where you just, as a player, you can see a player's confidence when they have a puck on their stick. And when there's such a difference watching guys that are going to shoot and have a great chance to score, and others that haven't and are thinking about, am I going to shoot or am I going to pass it? Am I going to do that? One of the two. It's a gargantuan difference, right? From those two, even though those guys are both pros, it's a big difference. So I'd like to see Lindholm get it. He's more of a distributor of a puck than he is a goal scorer, but he can put it up. But I want to see the puck on his stick more. I do. Let me ask you about this. If Jeremy Swayman is the number 3 goalie for USA, we know that Hellebuck's number 1. Am I correct? Right?
Oh, yeah.
No, not even that. Okay.
Yep.
Let's just say Swayman's number 3.
Yeah.
And every team has a number 3. Just being around the event, staying on the ice, putting on the sweater, wearing the logo swag. Is that what you're talking about is good for him? Just the moment of it?
Absolutely. It's massive. And he's going to be able to get to watch 2 of the best guys in the world play and practice for the next 10 days. His head will be highly dialed in on hockey. He'll also, he gets a bit of a different voice, different coaches. He'll be able to do his work still. He's going to have lots of time to work. He's going to be on the ice with the extras or taking extra shots or having a net that Hellebuck doesn't after game 1 or game 2. So it's good for him to be around. I think it's an opportunity for him to completely reset, but also work. And also get some stuff done, but feel good about it and feel great about putting on the sweater and being a part of best on best and having more opportunities to do so. So I think that timing for that is really good for Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, and especially again with the games, half of them being in Boston. If you're not familiar, and I'm assuming 99% of our listeners are, but the tournament starts on the 12th of February in Montreal. Each team plays 2 games there. The big game is Saturday night, a week from tonight, when U.S. plays Canada at Bell Center. And then they come to TD Garden to play games on Monday, the 17th. And then the top 2 teams, it's not like a crossover or anything. It's just the teams with the most points after Monday play on Thursday for the Four Nations. I don't know what the cup is called, if there is one. Four Nations final. They play for the championship there. In theory, they could know if certain things play out perfectly or imperfectly, I guess it would be. You could know before Monday's games at TD Garden who's in the final come Thursday night. But that's a big if things work. And maybe they don't. I'm rooting for USA. I am. Who will your kids be rooting for?
Oh,
Are
they'll
they
be
gonna
they're Team USA. Yeah,
Team USA?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Are you going to have one of those split sweaters, or are you
No,
going?
I don't. I'm not a fan of the split sweaters. You're either one or the other. Only moms or dads can wear split sweaters of two different kids. I think we talked about this, didn't we?
I know. Yeah, a little,
Yeah. Yeah. No split jersey. I mean, yeah, I've got to keep my Canadian pride, at least, especially in my house, just to keep my kids honest a little bit.
There you go.
Make my mom happy.
Oh,
If I went Team USA, my mom and dad would be very disappointed. So.
Oh, your dad would. Well, maybe your dad would never go shopping with you then.
Yeah. That's right. Well, he can't now because of the dollar, so he has no chance to go shopping anymore down here.
Well, exactly. Speaking of, well, I don't even have a good segue there. All right, we're going to wrap it up, but we've got a lot of snow coming.
I
Like
know.
we're in that. So, are you a? What are you? What kind of snowblower you got? I don't. I know about the yard. I don't know about the snow situation. Or are you a service guy?
No. No service guy. Yeah, I've got a snowblower. I didn't pull it out for the one last week, but it got moved to standby this afternoon.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's ready to be deployed when I get out of bed in the morning. So it's a good question. It is a Canadian one, of course. It came down from Canada.
Really?
But
Okay.
I don't know the make or model. I should, but I haven't used it. I didn't use it all last year or this year. I haven't looked at it. So
You haven't used it this year, huh? You haven't
no, I
had
didn't use it all this year because the last snow was like supposed to be big, but that was an easy
Well, the
shot.
last snow wasn't big at all. I've got one of these smaller Toros, but it works well, very well. I find it satisfying when the driveway's done. I got a long driveway. By the way, I think that earthquake, I think that there's in my driveway now.
There you
I
go.
think there's a little fault. I
There
do.
you
I
go.
like there's a little like it's
Cracked it.
oh my gosh. I noticed it 2 days ago and I'm like, where did this? And then it's like down 2/3 of the driveway. I'm like,
Well, that's the
holy
issue too, is because it's been so cold and like when it gets warm, we're really going to see stuff like that pop up once it heats up here in the spring because everything's going to start to expand again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're going to see and they're doing this major project 2 doors down from us where we live. And they were drilling, like
Oh yeah.
foundational stuff
Fracking.
months ago.
They're fracking your
Pretty
driveway.
much. Yes. We are known for having that gas right underneath the streets of Newton.
Right.
Why wouldn't that be nice? We wouldn't have to pay taxes.
That's right. Yeah, right.
All right, last thing. So you'll wait till you get up. I'm supposed to be in Marlboro at 8:15 for a 9:10 game, something like that. So is it rude to do your driveway?
You can't blast that baby Sunday morning at 7 a.m. No, that is rude.
No. It wouldn't be 7. It would be 6:45.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You can't do that.
Oh, you see, I think
you got to do it when you get home. You got to have it. You got to leave it like halfway up the driveway, and you just got to pull out in the snow in the morning.
I don't mind what I don't like is compacting the snow to where then
it's only the 2 tracks, and then you have to like park across the street when you get home.
Yeah,
and then put it together. That's what you have to do.
Would you be pissed at me if you were my neighbor if I did it at 6:45?
My wife would call the police on you, 100%.
Really?
Oh yeah, she calls on landscapers all like she would not. No, you can't do that especially on a Sunday morning. No way.
Technically, it's not Sunday because, in theory, because Monday is a day off, right? Isn't Monday a day off, or is that
No, that's next week. Good try though.
Oh shoot,
it's Sunday.
Okay,
next week's President's Day or something like that.
Oh,
so yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, you're right. I got a week ahead of myself. I was going to say it's really not.
Yeah.
Monday, by the way, Beanpot, folks. If you, check out the
Beanpot. That too.
All right. Well, this wraps up Morning Brew, Jaffe and Razor. We will be back with you at some point. We're going to take the week off. I'm going away for a couple of days after we do the Beanpot on Monday, and Razor can take a little time off as well. But we will do a show during Four Nations. See what's going on. So, folks, give us about, I'd say, probably a week. and then we'll be back. And then we are loaded up, as soon as we'll do one during Four Nations, but also then after. We're doing shows after pretty much every game, 4 or 5 games in a row. So we'll be back with you then. But in the meantime, like I said, time for everybody to get a little rest and recharged. And hopefully the Bruins, who knows what they're going to do. It's like I said, they're in one right now, but we'll see. All right, Razor, have a great time. I'll see you Monday, but then do what you're doing, taking a little time off. RC, thanks for everything, bud. Bruins lose 4-3. A disappointing, I will say discouraging loss for me. But, we'll be back at it in a week 2 weeks when the Bruins are back in action coming up. Meantime, we'll talk to you before then. Everybody enjoy the break somewhat and enjoy your coffee.